I've loved soccer. So it was one of those things where you leave the game but like your heart doesn't leave the game. And so I knew how important my coaches were to me. And I wanted to be that, helping them develop on the field, but off the field as people. It's so important.
I didn't get to go through the ODP system. I would have liked to, but being part of it now, I think it's great. It's a great opportunity.
I went out and tried out for ODP the first year for the state team, and I actually did not make it. For me, that was a major tipping point in my career for the better. You go to ODP, and then there's a whole bunch of me and better. For me, that was something, though, that I wanted to be a part of. Was like, no, I'm coming back. I'm going to make this team. Came back the next year and made the state team. So then it's like, all right, now I'm at that level. Maybe the reason now that I'm coaching it is because for a player like myself that thought I was at a good level, and to have coaches through ODP, they're like, keep training, keep getting better, come back, make this team. For me, that was massive in my development. So to go off and do the same thing for players that having sometimes difficult conversations, maybe you're not quite here yet, but like, that's not to say you can't be here. Get back to work and come back, show us that you're ready to get to this level.
Being able to hear different voices brings a different challenge for kids to hear different coaches, to hear different coaching styles. I also think it's a good way to push them. Sometimes kids don't necessarily like to go outside their comfort zone, like go try new things, be around different players. Challenges them as players off the field to do things, to try new things, and to be uncomfortable sometimes and know that it's okay.
The skill, the talent that's around this in the state, being in that environment is very beneficial and benefits the young players.
Although I didn't see myself as being as good as them at that time, I loved that process of getting in and battling and competing. I think that that's part of it, is that joy and that competition.
ODP in Missouri, it provides many opportunities, being in different environments, being around different coaches, different players. The biggest one for me is that pathway, providing that pathway to young players where they can play for the state team and eventually that regional pool or go play for the regional team. That's the biggest opportunity I see that Missouri ODP.
When you're starting to get into those high school age groups, the exposure to college coaches, even for our developmental age groups, they're thrown into an environment that they got to go play with somebody different, setting them up for maybe being a better high school player.
So last year, we had about 450 players in our state that played ODP. Of those players, approximately 100 got an invite to go to region camp. About 85 accepted those invitations. Those 85 players went to Saginaw, Michigan, competed with kids from the 13 other states in our region for a spot on the region team. We had 12 players make region teams, represent our region, and compete against the other 3 regions in our country at events in Boca Raton, Tampa, Florida, or sometimes they travel to Scotland, England. Through that process, kids were chosen to participate in a USYS national camp. 5 of our players from Missouri were invited to go to that camp, and they competed against DA clubs and other very high-level clubs around the country and did quite well. From our 5 that were from Missouri at that national camp, 3 of them actually made the USYS national team. 202 girls, we had an 04 boy. They were set to travel. Boys were supposed to be in Barcelona this spring, and the girls were going to England. For us to be able to give our Missouri kids that opportunity to be seen on the stage at a state level, a regional level, and national level is huge. And it does open the doors. The higher level they play, the more exposure they get to college coaches. Michael, you mentioned the Memphis event, and that event last year, that stage is an interregional event with state teams from the Midwest as well as the Southern region. We had region scouts there, we had national scouts there, we had college scouts there, and MLS scouts all in one complex watching our ODP kids. And actually last month, even the new MLS team that's coming to St. Louis, we had their top soccer operations guy and 2 of his assistants out watching our tryout. And they just reached out to me a couple of days ago for a list of our players in certain age groups that they're going to get invites to their initial camp that they're going to run. Exciting times for ODP.
I'm part of ODP, I love coaching. It's a great opportunity for me as a coach, but not only to work with different players, to work with different coaches. It's a really cool environment. My first weekend, I just like raved about it. I thought it was cool to be around authentic coaches from different walks of life, different soccer adventures. What's special about ODP is there's motivated players. It provides different coaching for, players to get to experience.
I was pretty lucky growing up. I had a good amount of coaches that knew what they were doing and provided really good guidance. And to me, I feel like I want to do my part, give that same guidance that I got growing up. The biggest thing for me is being the type of coach that I know I can provide that guidance, help players grow on and off the field. And what I feel is mostly special about this program in Missouri is you got a bunch of coaches from, like Katie said, from different backgrounds, different walks of life that are there for the same reason to help develop the players. We have Jeff as a director, and I know he wants the ODP in Missouri to keep growing and keep expanding to reach more young players.
Yeah, I think it kind of comes, like I said, it comes full circle as a player in the system to now coaching and now giving my experiences back to those young players. We're working really hard to get kids that wouldn't normally get this opportunity into the system and into this to get more players exposed.
Tonight, we focused on a few of our Kansas City coaches. It's really important for us as a state association to make sure that we are getting to every pocket of the state that we can. Doesn't matter club affiliation, doesn't matter necessarily if they're high school coaches, because we've got high school, we've got college, we've got club coaches. For us, it's about finding quality people that love to coach and love to be around the game and want to give back. And I think we've got almost 20 clubs represented on our coaching staff. Which is great. And we've got coaches all over the state, from Springfield to Kansas City to Columbia to St. Louis. And having that kind of representation is really important for us. Coaches, good quality coaches in those markets, it just helps spread the word and get these kids opportunities, which is really our main goal, is to get these kids opportunities at that state, regional, and national level. So thank you guys for all the hard work you guys put in and your dedication.
I promise you won't be disappointed.
You have nothing to lose. Reach for the stars.
I think you would really enjoy the experience.